morning to one and all. So now we have to discuss the continuation of previous concepts. The previous concepts we have discussed sexual reproduction in flowering plants, the introduction part called as the flower structure, and the male gamete and the female gametes, where they are producing those parts we called it as the male gametocyte and the female gametocyte. So now in this class we have to discuss about how a male reproductive part is present and what are the parts are present in the male reproductive structure of a flower, as well as the structure and the function by anatomically how the male reproductive part is present, that we will discuss in this class. So first of all, the stamen, the male reproductive part, we call it as the stamen. The stamen has composed of two parts. Now this is the structure called a stamen, and this structure is commonly which has composed of two parts. One, the slender part, we called it as the filament, and the upper swollen part we called it as the anther. The upper part we call it as the anther. The long slender stalk called as the filament, it's called as the filament, and the terminal generally bilobed structure called as the anther. This is appear like a bilobed structure, and this we call it as the anther. Now this anther and is connected to the filament by the help of a small portion called as connective. The small portion we call it as the connective, and the terminal part which is attached, the proximal end of the filament is attached to the thalamus or the petals of the flower. The number and the length of the stamens are variable in flowers of different species. Now this part it is called as the swollen part, which is attached to the structure called as the petals or the thalamus, and it is a basal part. It is a basal part. Now so these parts, if we have to observe, those we call it as the anther and the filaments, where these parts of different plants, the flowers or stamens will be differing, either their structure, or you may observe the stamens through the microscope or the small by using a normal microscope also. They are in different species of the flowering plants. So if you have to collect 10 or more than 10 species of the stamens which are available in our locality, those are showing a large variation in their structure. Either some of the stamens are having bilobed anthers, some they are having more than that, and some anthers, the connective part may be connected on the dorsal side of the anther, or the center of the anther, or the base of the anther. Like different based on the attachment of the filament on anther also, they are in different structures. Like different species of flowering plants, those are produces the stamens, those are appeared and different in structures. So now we have to study how these part it is present, that we call it as the now a bilobed anther. If we have to go for the anatomical sectional view of the bilobed anther, this bilobed anther commonly can seen in the angiosperms. A typical angiosperm anther is called as the bilobed anther. Each lobe, now this is a bilobed anther. Bi means two, and which has composed of two anthers. Now we have to go for transverse section of anther. Then we can find the structure is appear like this appearance. So here we can find bilobes. Bilobes means these two we called it as a bilobe. This is a bilobed anther, and each of the lobe has composed of two thecas. These parts we called it as the theca. Each part called as the thecas. So totally four thecas are present. Each bilobed or each lobe has composed of two thecas. So it is a one lobe which has composed of two thecas. Like this is the another lobe which has composed of two thecas. Like in a angiospermic plant, a tetrathecus or the tetragonal anther we can find, or the a bilobed anther has composed of tetragonal thecas, or four thecas will be present in a angiospermic plants. And the pollen grains, we have to observe in the inner side of each of the thecas. Inside these thecas, the formed layer we called it as the pollen sacs are present, the microsporangia. So each theca which are present at the corners of a stamen, we called it as the microsporangia. Each we call it as the microsporangia. And each microsporangia has composed of a numerous powdery like structures, those we call it as the pollen grains. This we call it as the pollen grain. Each theca is filled with pollen grains, and these pollen grains outer surface layer we call it as the pollen sacs. The pollen sacs, and inside the pollen sacs numerous number of the powder like substances we call it as the pollen grains are present. And these pollen grains at the time of maturity, the dehiscence will be occur. The dehiscence of anthers results in a removal of or the coming out of the pollen grains from the anther, which are distributed to the outside environment, and they will reach to the female gamete, or we call it as the a ovary region, or the stigma of the other flowers. When these pollen grains are reached on the stigma of the stigma of the flowers, other flowers, then they helps for the pollination, and from pollination to the fertilization, like a further process we can see in the organisms of these flowers, or the structures of the stamen. The structure of microsporangia, or the microsporangia, develop further and become pollen sacs. They extended longitudinally all along the length of an anther and are packed with pollen grains. So these are extended with longitudinally, and which has composed of the pollen grains and pollen sacs. So which has composed of very huge number of the pollen grains. Now we have to observe how the microsporangia will be present. So the microsporangia has composed a transverse section of a typical angiospermic appearance of near circular in outline. It is generally surrounded by a 4 wall layers called as the epidermis. So these now we have to study the structure. We called it as the typical angiospermic anther. So this structure we called it as a anatomical structure of a anther. It is the outer line or the outer layer which has composed of, especially we have to observe, so majorly a microsporangia has composed of different layers. You have to observe the microsporangia, the structure of the microsporangia. The microsporangia, a young anther, this structure we called it as a young anther, which has composed of 4 different layers. Those we called it as the one is a tapetum, epidermis, outermost layer we called it as the epidermis, and the endothecium, and third one is a middle layers, and the fourth one is a tapetum. A microsporangia has composed of 4 layers. That 4 layers we called it as the outermost layer we called it as a structure called as the epidermis, or the epidermis is a single layered. And this is in a uninucleate condition. Epidermis is a uninucleate and single layered. We call it as epidermis. And inner to this epidermis, the presence of another layer we call it as the endothecium. The endothecium also single layered structure. The endothecium is also single layer structure. And inner to this endothecium, the presence of middle layer. So the endothecium also composed of uninucleate condition, and which has a single layered structure. Inner to this 3 to 4 layers of middle layers are present. And inner to middle layers the presence of the microsporangia or the tapetal cells, and the tapetum which has composed of nourishes which will helps for the development of the young pollen grains and maturation of the pollen grain purpose. The tapetum cells are helping, and the tapetum is a multinucleate or binucleate in condition, and 4 microsporangias will be present. The microsporangia has composed of 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 microsporangias are present, and these 4 microsporangias tapetal layers will matures and helps for the nourishes to the young development of the anther, the pollen grains, and those pollen grains will helps for the pollination purpose. Thank you.